So today I watched the first four episodes of Raven of the Inner Palace or Koku no Karas. And I really actually ended up enjoying it much more than I thought it would. I kind of was like, I didn't expect a lot, but I wanted to give every show a chance this season because this season has just been incredibly strong, like across the board. I've been continually surprised that, each new show that I didn't expect to be good or didn't expect to enjoy, like really being something I enjoyed. So like Bibliophile Princess or Beast Tamer or Eminence and Shadow, like all really good shows and really different shows too, for that matter. And besides, this is completely outside of like the known heavy hitters and ones we knew were going to be good, like Chainsaw Man, Spy Family, My Hero Academia season 6. So this one was yet another one, and I just wanted to talk about it because if I don't talk about it now, it is going to it's going to be hard for me to capture my feelings for it. It's just going to get harder and harder each day that passes. So what is the show about? So this show takes you back to ancient China, but with a kind of magical realism twist. So, in ancient China, you have your emperor, and he's one of the main characters. But there's also this other character called the Raven Consort, and generally a consort, to be a consort means to be like a wife of the emperor. But the Raven Consort in this show is like a special character who isn't actually a consort. She doesn't do like nighttime activities with the emperor. She is almost like a legendary figure in status, in that she is like, she's rumored to have magic powers, and she accepts requests from people and helps people with their, and helps solve these requests and take some payment for it or some kind of compensation for it. People aren't sure like how old she is or like whether she's even human. So that is our other main character, and really the main character, I'd say, like the protagonist is the Raven Consort. In truth, she's just a regular 16-year-old girl who was taught some degree of like sorcery from the previous Raven Consort. So I think what one thing I really liked about the show is how both of these main characters were kind of really screwed over as kids. So the Emperor, the show opens up with him kind of reclaiming the throne, killing the Empress who killed his mother, who was a different consort, and took away his rights to rule the kingdom because he was the crown prince. And not just with him coming back to take power and with his mother dying at the hands of the Empress, but there's this whole bloody history with not just him, but with his grandfather, with past generations, that he is not really paying the sin. He's not necessarily paying the price for, but they're like a weight on him. It's kind of like you feel the weight of all of that he has to live with. And a similar thing happened for the Raven Consort, so she has like a actually pretty sad backstory. Fast forward to the present day, and these two people begin working with each other in order to kind of resolve issues in the kingdom related to like spirits and souls not passing on and ghosts. And the show ends up taking a kind of like mystery of the week format. So to go back to my description of the Raven Consort, she is kind of like, she's almost like they never use the word detective, but she's kind of like a detective for hire. And to me, she really reminded me actually of Geralt from The Witcher. So in The Witcher is another series that is actually underneath, despite looking like kind of just like a fantasy show, a fantasy series, is actually also a detective series. So Geralt is kind of like that hard-boiled detective. I don't really know what hard-boiled detective means anymore, but at one point I watched an extra credits video that talked about it. And Geralt from The Witcher, his job is to kill monsters, which doesn't sound very detective-y. But he doesn't just kill monsters. He doesn't just kill monsters for the sake of monsters. He always kind of has this moral compass even if a human comes to him with a request like, you need to kill this monster, he considers like, is this actually the thing I should be doing? Is this person like, do I agree with this person? Like, do I feel good doing this? Do I feel morally correct doing this? And here, in Raven of the Inner Palace, it's kind of a similar thing in that a lot of the mysteries have involved souls not being able to reach the afterlife due to being wronged in some kind of way during their life. So, in the first mystery, this woman hung herself, and now she's unable to pass on. So she's this ghost that is haunting this earring the emperor found. And without going into too many details, the emperor enlists the help of the Raven consort to kind of get to the bottom of like what really happened here. Why did she kill herself? And how can they help her move on to the afterlife? And with each successive mystery they solve, you kind of get a better picture of the story of the kingdom as a whole, the story of what happened to the emperor, what happened to the emperor's family, what happened to the Raven consort, who is she, where did she come from, what is she dealing with personally and emotionally and like psychologically, all that stuff, right? Like as a human being, what are the problems she's dealing with, and what does she need to move on from? And all these individual mysteries of them helping other people provide little pieces of the puzzle into, well, how are they going to fix themselves at the end of the day? And there's a bit of like a kind of romantic undertone between the two of them, or rather the Raven consort is kind of like this kind of kudere type. So she's like this kind of like not coldness really, but almost jaded kind of personality. Actually, I would say both the emperor and the Raven consort are both are kind of jaded in a sense of life, but you can tell that like deep down they're very very good people. So it's just really really wholesome, like seeing them, slowly become less jaded, become happier, more full people, very very slowly, very very slowly, by the way. And slowly you can definitely see like kind of some kind of bond form between them. The Raven consort, like she slowly, she has been living alone for the past 16 years. So she's 16 years old, and she was told that the Raven consort, what were my notes? She was told that the Raven consort must desire nothing, and the greatest risk she can take is to take pity on those she helps. The reason for that is that the second she starts to feel bad for the people she needs to help, that she takes requests for, she is going to be completely overwhelmed. She's going to be completely overwhelmed by the amount of people that need her help, people that she feels bad for, and she's going to lose herself. For me, this is like something that I can relate to very personally, because it's just a personality trait of mine that I have a lot of problems with. I don't know where that cutoff point is for who can I realistically help, who can I give myself to, and who can I not. So me personally, I became a fucking jaded piece of shit, or I am right now. I'd say in many ways I close myself off kind of almost unconditionally, which I think was very similar for both of these characters in different ways. So I love kind of like the large kind of story of like what's going to happen to these two characters. How are they going to grow as people? Are they going to fall in love? And how are they going to influence the people around them to also, like maybe like fix this like kind of messed up kingdom right now, like as each like kind of murder mystery, or like each undeparted soul kind of mystery is unraveled. It really is like they're just each one of those individual mysteries is just very kind of sad. It's just really sad. You just see like kind of a lot of the times it's just good people getting stuck in unfortunate situations that were beyond their control. I think that is how I'd sum it up. It's just like really, really wholesome people just getting kind of screwed over um by kind of unfair situations in the world. And often these unfair situations tie into this kind of big story about what happened to the emperor, what happened to the consorts, um, like when they were children. So, for instance, the emperor's mom was killed. She was poisoned by the current like empress. So she was poisoned by the current empress. So how did that poisoning take place? Well, what happened was that the empress set her up and framed somebody else. The empress obviously couldn't take responsibility for the poisoning, so somebody else got framed for poisoning the emperor's mom. So what happened to the people who got framed, and then that is related to like the suicide or and all of the kind of people that were affected by that, and then that is like kind of the first mystery. I guess to sum it up, you got big story with two people, with a boy and a girl who got screwed over as children and now are jaded, kind of cold individuals, but are finding kind of this love and this happiness potentially within each other, and by meeting each other are able to open up and also help the people around them. So I think that's awesome. And then the individual mysteries that kind of form little pockets of stories. Each one of the individual mysteries I thought were all like really interesting. I liked the kind of soul aspect, the spiritual aspect to all of them. Maybe not everybody will like that, but I really liked it. And each individual one is like, I think, a good story on its own. Like it's always like really there is like some kind of like human condition thing going on there, and it also ties into this bigger narrative. So that's kind of how I describe it, I guess. The magical abilities of the Raven Consort, honestly, they don't really take me out of the show. Things feel very realistic still, because it doesn't feel any more magical than some kind of like CSI tool. Like somebody taking DNA from a hair sample feels just as magical as the kind of stuff she's doing. So for me, fucking love it. It doesn't bother me at all. It accentuates the show even, because it lets you deal directly with these concepts of like souls and moving on and death and ghosts, which I just think is really cool. So yeah, I mean, this is one I almost definitely going to finish, because I just want to know. I just want to know, like, are they going to end up together? Of course I want to know, but I also want to see it happen, because I think it's going to happen, or it's going to get close to happening at least. Stuff is going to like build up. Maybe it's not going to finish within 13 episodes, but stuff is going to happen there clearly. So I want to see that happen. I want to see more about their past. I want to see them overcome it and grow. And I want to see them kind of affect the people around them also in good ways, and be affected by those people as well. I think it's just yeah, I mean, I just think the characters I just really like the characters. I think that's all it is at the end of the day. In terms of story, in terms of art, it also just it is not the most flashy show by any means, and I think the first minute and the opening of the show do not really do it justice to like how pretty the art is. But the thing is the ending. So basically in anime, there's an opening theme, which is a minute 30, and an ending theme, which is also minute 30, opening and ending. In the ending, the art is fantastic, and the art for the consort herself, like, she's just really beautifully drawn. Like, she has like these deep purple eyes, and the kind of hairstyle she has is really intricate. And when she does her little bit of magic, every episode or so, that scene is always like really well animated. The art is consistent. Yeah, I mean, I think it is just at the end of the day, the art style fits the show well. It feels really Chinese, and it's really pretty. It's just really pretty. The animation alone does not make you salivate in the way kind of Chainsaw Man does, but it looks really, really good. I think it looks really good. And the music also, it just hits right. again, it's not flashy music, but it just hits right at certain points. It just hits that like that kind of emotion, like that emotional note at like a key scene, and then it just really fills in. It fills in the whole thing, I guess, fills in the whole scene with like this extra degree of color that um it's just really pretty. It's just a really pretty show. I guess that's all I can say. Um but yeah, definitely want to see where this goes. And yeah, I don't know. Just overall this season just really great. I mean, other shows I didn't think I'd like, or I thought I would like, but not to the degree I am. So like Bibliophile Princess is another wholesome kind of romantic show, more heavy on romance, more heavy on wholesome, less sad, less mystery, um, but also a little bit mystery too, and a little bit both of them actually have deal with kind of royals, like nobility and no and mystery and politics. So actually quite a similar show. Um, the Little Lies We All Tell, this one is not doing well in terms of ratings on my anime list, but I thought it was actually really funny. Like for a comedy, I wasn't looking for a comedy, but I gave it a try, and it didn't really. I didn't really like the first few minutes of it, but then it started getting funny. It actually started getting funny, and like the characters are really silly. The characters like, it's like four individual brain cells, uh, trying to play cards with each other. That's like the kind of feeling. Like I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah, this season it's just been a good season. It's just been a great season so far. Yeah. So I tried to think about why I like these characters so much while I was editing, like both the consort and the emperor. And first of all, I love a good like boy meets girl story, but on their own, um, they both got kind of screwed over as kids. They both had their parents murdered in unfair ways. Um, and they have every reason to be completely jaded, completely like selfish, like self-serving individuals. And yet at the end of the day, they're still very like they still care a lot about other people. They're still very kind, deep down. And I think that's just it's just so damn wholesome. Like it's like that kind of wholesomeness can only really shine in a situation like this. Like anybody can be nice in like a happy-go-lucky kind of slice of life show, but only in like those kinds of pits of despair does somebody's like ability to be kind like really shine and really make a kind of measurable impact on me at least. Like it really makes me go like, wow, that's incredible. Like that's absolutely incredible. I mean, that's probably why in the Bible, not maybe not why, but why like maybe the story of like Jesus like resonate with people because despite getting not being accepted by like the Romans and his people, despite people putting him on the cross, he still like, will give himself for other people. He will still, obviously, yeah, it's a little, I don't want to talk too much about the Bible because it's religion, but yeah, I mean, that kind of wholesomeness, it's just very respectable. It's very like, it makes me feel very happy, I guess. It gives me hope also that, the world isn't like such a bad place, I guess. I don't know what I'm saying.